Coming up on this program, we show you how to get connected. Find out how to choose an internet service provider. Discover the newest form of communication, electronic mail.
Ways down and ready to ride. One by one, billion by billion, they're holding up half the sky. Raise your hand if you're ready and willing, if you know it's time. Time for a girl on time. Time for a girl on time. Time for a
You're not late, Beverly. Thank you for being here. Oh, see, you're right on time. First on the chat, technically, over there. Wissy's back. Happy Friday. I'm back on screen. Happy Friday. Thank you guys for putting up with just my disembodied voice yesterday. I am feeling a little bit better. I know I promised that I would be cooking in the kitchen today, but you know, people in my house have been sick along with me, so it just is not a good filming location at the moment. But I did bake this loaf of bread just now. Doesn't it look amazing? It's still warm. And yes, actually, Courtney, double it and right back at you, so 50% more. I hope not. I don't know. I'm pretending not to know about this. So where I am right now is actually, yeah, I am AI. I figured it out. I figured it out. Seriously, this is an Amish white bread recipe that I found. I am beyond excited for it, and I've used the right amount of sugar. I believe the Amish know how much sugar they need. And yes, Flusha, these are my jailhouse pajamas. Honestly, I don't even know if it's clean. It seems clean enough. It was the cleanest shirt nearby because I wasn't about to still be wearing the Snuggie we talked about yesterday. Oh, Chris, that is so sweet. If KCC were a triangle, she would be a cute one. Thank you, Christopher Angleby, and that is actually a really sweet, really, really sweet little comment. Thank you so much for the super chat. And we do have court today. I have been working all day. That is the good news. Even though I'm sick, I was working for us today, and I got us what I actually think is probably one of the most interesting cases, not interesting necessarily, but evenly balanced small claims cases that I've seen. So I think what we'll do, just like the judge is going to do, is listen to the evidence, see what we're going, like a cute angina. I love that, Flusha. Oh God, I might start coughing. I'm trying not to. I might need to medicate and drink some pop. Because you know me, I'm so healthy. Anyways, and I'm going to have to fix my hair. It's like falling out in a half ponytail, half knot. I'm medium better. Oh, Shane, I'm glad you found us. We just started. And I was just showing off this loaf of bread that I made. Doesn't this look AI, actually? Oh, I don't want to ruin it. It looks so good. I hope it tastes really good. I have this memory of homemade bread when I was little, made by my stepmom's mom. So like my step-grandmother, I guess. And it was so good. But I would say that the majority of bread that I make isn't that good, but I haven't spent a lot of time working on being a bread master, which I'm going to be soon. The second thing I want to talk about is we may have to have a ceremony for breadward shearing because things are looking down for breadward shearing. Let's just say that. Things are looking down, not up. I want us to send upward yeasty vibes to breadward shearing. I guess I moved him out of his small jar too soon. I'm sorry, bread. But, so we're sending vibes to him to keep growing. You know. Anyways. Let's get going on the case that we have. I'm disappeared from this one, but I will be back on it. Hold on one sec. Hold on 1 second. I said it before, but I'll say it again. I can't read properly right now for some reason. Okay. Prayers for my bread. Prayers for Bread Sheeran. Thank you. F in the chat for Bread Sheeran. Hopefully he returns. I love you guys so much. And we are going to watch this small claim. Too much loafing around. You guys are so funny. I think he's going to be, I fed him today. I didn't just give up on him. Hi, Jamie. I didn't just give up on him. Do you know what I mean? I made this bread chain with no help from Breadward. This is commercial yeast, baby. Commercial yeast. It's a little weird. I'm kissing it. I'm the only one probably going to eat it. Anyways, so let's watch this. This is Small Claims Court in Thurston County. It's actually one pretty long case. It's somewhat intricate, but it really comes down to what people say, which is what most court cases are these days. It's a he said, she said bullshit. So, without further ado, why don't you hit the play button? Oh, the judge is going to pause a lot in this, and I am going to try and fast us forward through those. But this is probably going to be about an hour-long case. Just giving you all a heads up. In case you need to re-up on whatever you're drinking, smoking, token, joking. Midnight token. I don't remember the words. Judge, how are you today? I heard that the judge bought 2 puppies from somebody else on a different part of the docket. And so he had to recuse himself from the case. Puppy power! Oh yeah, I definitely thought that I was missing this, but he's just reading everything for the first little bit, as he usually does. And then he's going to start the chitty-chatting. So the couple over here are a married couple, I would assume. And then the lady over here is the general manager of the plumbing company. That's the type of case that we're looking at today, Judge. But they're very patient. Very unusual for litigants representing themselves. So, and also there's a few different terms that are going to be thrown around during part of this case. And I think that I'm going to need some clarification. Because, well, you'll probably understand. Anyways, Judge, could we get going, please? Come on now. I put them on 1.25. Let's see how they do at that speed. Judge. Bill. They think the plumber stole their toilet, but right now they don't have anything to go on. Funny enough, the humble brags are hot with this couple.
Right.
Oh, here he goes.
Ms. West, Mr. Gutierrez, Ms. Alexander, if you'd all raise your right hands for me, please. Swear the testimony in this case will be the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
I do.
Thank you. And Ms. Alexander, what's your role with Olympic Plumbing Technology?
I'm the general manager here, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you.
Judge, come on. It's like a false start. He's like the starters. They're like on your marks, and then they wait like 8,000 minutes before they say set, and then go. Judge, go. Go, Judge. Go, Judge,
And-
go. Oh, now you're gonna talk. I literally pressed the
So
fucking button once
essentially,
and then you.
and who's going to do the bulk of the speaking, Ms. West or Mr. Gutierrez?
I will, Your Honor.
Okay, so essentially, Mr. Gutierrez, the claim, as I understand it, dates back to an inspection by Olympic Plumbing Technology on the 25th of September of 2023. You'd asked them to inspect a tub which had some signs that perhaps there was a leak issue, and they essentially say some water visible when water splashed around sides. Recommended customer, they grout or silicone. After extensive searching, no leaks were found. So based on that, you took certain actions to continue to use the tub you indicate for bathing a dog, and ultimately found out that there were significant structural issues with the tub, and you are arguing for the maximum $10,000 small claims jurisdictional amount damage, because you've in your mind have damages well in excess of that.
That's
Is that
correct.
a sort of
In fact-
accurate summary of your position?
It is, in fact, updated since I provided those materials. We did pay for the repairs in bathroom 1, and so that brings us to over $10,000 already. And we're still not back to where we were when we first hired them to repair the bathtub.
Okay, thank you. Get Marnie into another room. Huh? Sorry, Marnie, we ran out of rooms.
No, that's okay. I just want to let you know that I did settle 38043. Excuse me for interrupting, Your Honor.
No, damn, lady, you settled the case.
Appreciate
you
your work on
interrupt.
that.
Okay.
You saved Pierce County, by the way. That case is gonna have to be referred up to them, so
Oh,
Pierce County,
good.
thank
Thank you,
you.
Your Honor.
Yep, bye-bye.
But $10,000 for a
and-
bathtub seems like a lot.
Let's just start there, Ms. Alexander, with the 25th of September invoice. In your mind, is that a go-ahead to Ms. West and Mr. Gutierrez for using the tub?
So actually, so that was our
Hold on, we forgot something. Courtney, you need to be here to hear this. I don't know why I thought of you, but something is sus with this couple. I need you guys to read their first name. They're both named Aaron, but spelled differently. So Aaron and Aaron is the couple. Is that a power couple move? Having the same name? That's a power couple move, right? Aaron and Aaron. Also, did you hear that? 3 bathrooms, one of them just for their dog.
recommendation was that they silicone and grout the tub. There was some questions that came up in mediation about the health and safety inspection, and some notes as to why things weren't pointed out that were not up to code. So I was actually able to go pull some records during the break and found that our health and safety inspection was actually declined by the customer. I don't know if you can see that. By Erin, we have her signature on the top of the page here that it was actually declined, which is why we did a visual inspection of the tub, noted that we weren't able to replicate the leak based on visual inspection in doing our full assessment, and advised them to silicone and grout, which when we went back in June had still not been done. I also, there was visible damage noted to the tub as well, that it was caused by a remodel on our initial booking, so that they had recently remodeled that area as well. I would also like to note that the code failures, we were not the installing contractor. That all of the illegal piping and galvanized and cast iron was not installed by Olympic Plumbing Technology.
Okay, she's coming in hot, but the errands over here are not happy with what she's saying. They're doing a good job of keeping their cool, but they seem to disagree with what she's saying. There's often trouble when plumbers come around.
I would like to respond, Your Honor, but I'm waiting for your cue to do so.
Yes, yeah, I'll let you know.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, I've read what folks have filed. I don't think I have the document that Ms. Alexander is referring to, but I'm just trying to make some notes here.
He's just trying to make notes. My nails holding up amazingly still. I actually checked today the date that I got them done. We're coming upon a 3-week nail grow out, and they look great still, don't they? They look amazing. I'm very happy with them. Judge, do you like them? I was thinking to myself, like, she has lashes, Rochelle up there, but I'm more into my nails. I would rather have nails than lashes. I don't even wear mascara. I never do. But she's got her lashes done quite nice.
Okay, so Ms. Alexander, if I understand you correctly, your argument would be that when your company came out on the 25th of September of 2023, that they were not given full access. Is that right?
Correct. So on the invoice as listed, it says that there was a health and safety inspection, which is part of our 10-point process. So that's an internal process that we use. So I did review the invoice again, which has been submitted to the court, and that was actually at $0. The only thing that the customer was actually charged for was the $59.50 service fee or trip fee, which is standard to every customer that we go out to. So
Okay.
during the mediation, there was an issue brought up as to why it wasn't noted about the code failures prior to us coming out in June, when our service manager, who we went over in mediation, holds a PL01, which is the highest residential license in Washington State, which is why we sent a supervisor out. So I was able to have my team go and pull the actual hard copy of the 10-point inspection, which we do on every call. And I have a signed copy by, it looks like an E with a line. I can turn my background off and see if you're able to see it, but it states on here, customer declined. I also was able to find a health and safety inspection from 2021, where we noted that the master lavatory cold handles are leaking on both faucets. So we did note a failure back 2 years prior to that, that was happening with the faucets in that particular area. When our service manager went out in September, or I'm sorry, June of 2024, he provided a detailed invoice of all of the things that were illegally done. So when I pulled our original service request, which came in, which would have been what the customer reported to us they were calling in for by our CSR team, the notes that I have is bathtub leaking from 2 spots, wants estimate to fix issue, leak started after remodel of shower. Standalone tub, leak is behind the wall in the shower. So that was noted to our customer service team by Ms. West and Mr. Gutierrez as the issue that we were coming out for.
Okay. So who's the one who came out on the 25th of September?
That was our technician, Alan Thiem. And as noted on the invoice, he did a visual inspection and had advised that he did see some water dripping. He advised the customer that it could have been from splashing in or around the tub, and that they should try and either grout or silicone around the tub. When we returned in June, it's noted on the invoice that that still had not been done, however many months later, that had still not been done to rectify any issues, and we weren't able to replicate the leak at that time. Per the technician, he did extensive tests and couldn't replicate a leak that was being reported.
Okay, so let's just focus on this one, because the language is after extensive searching, no leaks were found.
Correct.
And it doesn't indicate to me that there was any limitation on what the tech could look for. It was tech did extensive searching and came out there understanding that there might be a leak, had been told other contractors said there was a leak, and your contractor said, no, I did extensive searching, no leaks found.
Right.
And it must be water dripping over the side, and recommended the grout.
Right.
And then the June report seems to indicate a bunch of issues which would more likely be the cause of the water damage, as opposed to the either existence or non-existence of grout. But none of those things were detailed by the person who came out in September. So my question is, how does that happen? How does that person, that tech in September, not note all these other issues?
Because the inspection form where we would have looked behind the walls was declined. So that's why we did not look at that time, because that's where the health and safety inspection would have come in, was actually us going. So per our normal process, what we do is we just go out and do a visual inspection. So testing would have included running the water, would have, looked around for visible damage, that was occurring on or around the walls, within the tub, the faucets, the fixtures themselves. We weren't able to replicate anything. It was noted that there was leaks reported by another company, but we weren't able to duplicate it at the time. We did see the dripping water and did report that, but we weren't able to, and we did advise the customer at that time that if the issue got worse or they continued to see the leak again, to give us a call back. We didn't receive a call back in regards to the issue until almost a year later, which was in June of 2024.
Okay. So I think what I hear you saying, and because we don't have the testimony of the tech, I don't know what the tech would say about what happened on the 25th, but I think you're indicating to me that because it says safety and health inspection performed $0, you're saying, well, that meant it actually wasn't performed, and thus we didn't have an opportunity to do.
No, Your Honor, I have the form right here. I can turn my filter off again, but we actually have the written form that says that the customer declined, and it's signed by Ms. West. Let me see if I can turn this off and see if I can get it to see here. So we do have the invoice signed by Ms. West that says customer declined, the health and safety inspection, which is dated 9/25/2023.
Okay, Ms. West, can you see that?
Yes.
I'd just like to point out just behind on her whiteboard over here, written in red, that appears to say dope. Dope on her whiteboard back there. Also, let's judge the rest of her room real quick. Pet peeve when people use whiteboards as bulletin boards. They're for writing on, not for posting things on.
I
Is that
can
your
hold it
second?
up.
Yes.
And, okay,
May I note, Your Honor, these were signed as they were leaving. These are forms that they handed to us to sign on their way out the door.
After they'd already
After
told
they'd
us
already
the
done all the work.
information.
okay, was there any conversation about whether they wanted to do something more? And you said, no, we don't need it,
No, the conversation when we had brought them out was that a previous plumber who had been working in the adjoining bathroom had noticed that there had been leaks under the bathtub. There was access available to all of the plumbing under the bathtub. It's a Roman bathtub. And as you can see in one of the exhibits, there's actually the same view that that first plumber had as the additional plumbers that came out to address that. So the leaks that she's referring to are in a completely different bathroom for the master or the primary bathroom. So it is completely different. But when he came out, he spent about 5 to 10 minutes looking at the tub. He said that he didn't see any particular leaks, but he did say that he saw that it needed to be recaulked. So he told me to just do it after he left, rather than us getting charged for him to do it. It was actually done within 24 hours of being completed, and I redid the entire bathroom. So every single tile that was around that Roman tub was recaulked. But he did have access to all of the cast iron pipes that Rochelle has mentioned, the same as the other two plumbers that also saw that.
And if I may clarify, there seems to be some misunderstanding about where the remodeling was done. If you
Yeah, we're more interested in the recaulking around here. Hi, Mikey. How are you? These people are fighting over the caulking and the bathtub. You know, we've had a few bathtub fights around here, but this is, no, maybe the other one was $10,000. These people want $10,000. And she got down on her hands and knees and dealt with the caulk all by herself. You know? And that takes a real woman to be able to do that. She did that, you guys. Please keep that in mind in this case. And what is a Roman tub? I want to know. I wish I had guys in the truck or Creed to look things up.
If you've looked at the exhibits, you can see that there are 3 bathrooms, and bathrooms 2 and 3 share a wall. We remodeled bathroom 3. We did not touch bathroom 2 from when we moved in. And so the bathroom in question that has this bathtub was not remodeled.
Oh, so a clawfoot tub. Oh, so as somebody who grew up in a house that had a metal clawfoot tub, it's just a standalone tub. There's nothing to caulk. Although that does remind me that at one point in time, because our house was like over 100 years old, and one night my mom and her girlfriend got, I don't know, drunk or giggly or somebody got into something, and they decided to fucking take apart the bathroom. We only had one bathroom, and they were like breaking they were convinced that underneath the ugly tub was a Roman tub or a large clawfoot tub. And maybe it's ceramic, but anyways, regardless, they were right, but the bathroom was in a state of undoneness for a long time. But so somebody in the 70s had basically boxed in this very heavy clawfoot tub at our old house. So maybe that's what they're talking about, like a box around it, but the tub itself is one solid thing. And Mikey providing the details for us. Roman tubs are large soaking tubs named for the baths built in ancient Rome. I've been to Rome, fun fact, in which you can soak up to your chin. I guess that would depend on how tall you are. Roman tubs have a depth of up to 22 inches and measure at least 54 inches in length. I don't know what that measurement is. Of course, I think in metric, but thank you. Also, just be careful with any caulk near any bathtubs. Just a good piece of advice, especially jetted ones.
It was when they were working on the shared wall, he looked under the Roman tub and said, hey, look, it looks like some water staining down there. And so we took a big chunk of tile off of the Roman tub, and they had access from that point on. All of OPT's plumbers had that same access to that area.
And that occurred prior to the inspection on the 25th of September?
Correct.
Yes.
The judge is not happy.
Was there, so who was speaking to the tech when it came out on the 25th? Was it you, Ms. West, or Mr. Gutierrez, or were you both there?
It was me.
Okay, so was there anything the inspector, the tech asked you to do that you said, no, we don't need it done? So, the indication is you signed something saying you declined a safety.
Wait, Judge, Mikey, did you see my bread? You came in a little bit late. I made this bread just today. It's not even for show. It's real. Edible, I think. I haven't tried it yet. But I made it.
In health inspection. What was your understanding when you were signing that handwritten note from him?
The conversation with Alan, who had been out at our house previously and had been very knowledgeable to my understanding, he had said that it just needed to be grouted or caulked, and that other than that, it was completely safe to use. I asked him multiple times. I said, look, we have money to repair or replace all of this right now. We would like to do it. And he said, you don't need to.
Okay, so the signing of, you're declining the health and safety inspection, what in your mind were you signing at that point?
I believed that I was signing something saying that there was no work that he believed needed to be done and that everything was safe and up to code, and that he didn't want to charge me any extra to do the grout or caulking.
Okay. And Ms. Alexander, do you anybody speak to the tech when he got back? Did he say, yeah, it looked fine, but I wasn't able to do the full inspection because they didn't want me to?
So it's noted on his debrief. So they call in and debrief with the dispatcher that the customer declined the 10-point inspection, which is noted in our system on 9/25/2023. It was noted by, I can actually tell you right now, noted by our dispatcher, Sarah, that it was declined, that the customer had done that. And also I can show the court this form again. So this form is very specific as to what is being looked at and done. It's a checklist that we actually go through. So it would have not indicated that everything was up to par, was up to code. It's just a simple checklist of everything that we would have looked at within that visit. And so this is actually something that's presented at the time to the customer when we begin our process. And so this would have actually been signed at the time. And this is not an electronic form. This is actually a handwritten form that the customer would have had to have physically signed. Most of our forms, I can attest, are electronic. So that with that being said, it's all done on an iPad at the end. So just to kind of give you some context, Your Honor, our process is we go out, we inform the customer that, we're there to diagnose the issue. We let them know that we are going to do a 10-point inspection. If at that time they decline, then we don't move forward with that process. We would just do the visual inspection, as I've mentioned before. Then what we would do is note any potential failures and provide the customer with options for either repair or replacement. If the customer wants to move forward with that, then we would go ahead and perform the repairs, but they would have signed the estimate prior to us beginning any work, and then sign the invoice upon completion that they were satisfied with the work that was done. So I do have the signed invoices at the end of but because we didn't provide any estimates, because we didn't perform any work at all, there was no estimates to be given for work to be performed because he couldn't replicate the leak. So we actually never physically performed any type of work on this property in regards to this issue.
Okay.
May I
So-
respond?
Yeah, hold on. What's the cost of a safety and health inspection?
It's $79, Your Honor. And they were not charged for that. They were just charged the
Right.
standard service fee or trip fee.
Right, I see that. Okay, so what I think Ms. West and Mr. Gutierrez are saying is, or Ms. West, since she was the one there, that Alan, I think is the text name, said, hey, I don't see anything. It just looks like water came out of the tub. Probably you should recaulk or silicone, and there's no need for anything further. That seems to be the issue. And her point is that's what she was signing was Mr. Gutierrez or pardon me, Alan saying you don't really need any further work, so I don't want you to have to pay for anything additional.
This
And
would
she
have been
signed-
done prior to that, prior to him even looking at the tubs. This safety inspection would have been, as part of the process, this safety inspection, they would have declined it initially as soon as he was out at the property and told them what the process was going to be for how he was going to determine the issue.
May I interject?
Okay, well, Ms. West, you told me earlier that you signed that on his way out the door, not his way in the door.
Can we also look at that since it's not actually in the exhibit? Because that 10-point inspection isn't for the bathtub. That's for the entire house. We didn't
Correct.
need him
What
to
if-
do the entire house. We just needed the bathtub. That's why that wasn't signed. We already knew of any issues that were going to be needed to be fixed, and we had them out, and they had done those 10-point inspections previously. So we were aware of everything else. He wasn't here for the rest of the house. He was here for the tub.
That actually makes a good, that's actually a decent point, and yes, it's delicious. I wish I like crust. I don't know if I'm weird, but I like the crust. Oh, anyways, delicious. The bread is excellent. I can share the recipe one day. Secondly, she makes a good point. No, if they've already done this inspection before, why would they pay again to have them go and tell them the exact same stuff? Like, that doesn't make much sense. Especially if you're diagnosing an issue. They already did. It would be one thing if they'd never done it, but this company has already done the exact same inspection at that house already.
This is the consent form, though, for us to perform the health and
Oh,
safety
okay.
inspection.
All right.
This is for the consent form for us to go behind the wall. And it was declined.
not behind walls.
Okay.
Well, I can note from the pictures that your pipes are absolutely behind your walls. They're not on the front facing part of your walls. And I would also like to direct the court to what I have submitted from Tom, who, when we did return back in June, which again was almost a year later, when they reported that they were still having issues and that now there was a leak within the ceiling, that he did inspect in the upstairs 3-handle deck mount faucet. He noted that the faucet was not installed properly. So I'm not at their home. I don't know what their bathrooms look like. There was remodeling happening during all of this time. So I can't attest to what was done prior to us coming out, what was done after us coming out, but what was done behind the walls, and if they're adjoining bathrooms or anything that's sharing plumbing lines, was completely done out of code. It was cast iron is not legal. It's not per Plumbing Washington code, and galvanized is no longer used because it is 100% susceptible to failure. They also attached brass or galvanized nipples that aren't up to code. So there was a bunch of things done that we can't attest when.
What kind of nipples? What did she say they were? That sounds painful. Galvanized nipples. I know about almost every kind of nipple. Good night, Erica. Hope you have a great evening. And Courtney, I thought that was very weird too. Who has adjoining bathrooms? Like, that's super flex. Super humble brag. I don't think mine are galvanized. I don't know. How do you tell if your nipples are galvanized?
It was and wasn't done. Was it done prior to us? There's all kinds of work that have been done at the property.
We were attesting to the
from
fact
what
that
they
those were
call
like
the-
that before we got,
All
before
right,
we.
no. Okay, yeah, hold on. It won't work for me if two of you are going back and forth. You have
Understood,
to wait.
sorry.
Okay, Ms. Alexander, keep going.
It also notes here that the tile was already removed when we came out the second time. So there was obviously work that was done in that bathroom the second time that we came out in June of 2024, because the tile has been noted as being removed. So what it says is, due to the tile already being removed, a full replacement of the faucet is recommended. Also notice that black iron fittings were used in a potable system for the tub, spout connection as well as sprayer connection. Black iron is not approved potable water piping. The original installer, who was not Olympic Plumbing Technology, also used faucet supply lines connected with galvanized nipples to expend the sprayer hose. It is against codes to conceal mechanically connected plumbing items, such as these supply lines. They are only rated for the installation of fixtures where lines are accessible. The supply lines are currently leaking. The faucet is turned on when the faucet is turned on as well. The faucet holes are also drilled too close together, allowing water to leak through the deck as noted in previous invoices.
Okay,
So-
so my question, Ms. Alexander, is this, is that when that is seen on the 5th of June or the 4th of June,
Correct.
what's your theory as to why it wasn't seen on the 25th of September?
My theory in this and looking through everything is what I can put together, and in my professional opinion, was that we originally went out. In order for him to recommend putting silicone and grouting around the tub would have been fully installed. And if I'm not mistaken, Mr. Gutierrez did attest that they did have remodeling work done. And by the time we came out the second time, that there was a section of the tub that had been removed, if I can remember correctly from testimony that was just given. So when we came out the second time, according to Tom, there was already a chunk of the Roman tub taken out. So that's where those lines became visible for us to see that it was no longer up to code. When that plumbing happened, I don't know. I can't attest to that, nor can anyone with our company as to when that transpired. We were able to visually see it at that time because now a section of the tub had been exposed for us to be able to see it.
Your Honor, may I?
I'll get back to you in a moment.
Okay.
Right, Bill? If a section of the tub was removed, I think it's pretty obvious where the fucking leak is coming from. Oh, Jesus Christ. Hi, Carla. Carol, I have not given up on eggs. Do you mean because of the price? Because of... Do you know, I don't think chickens have nipples.
And
They
Ms.
have breasts,
West,
but no nips.
since you're one speaking to this, you said you regrouted or did silicone the day after Alan left. Which did you do, grout or silicone?
Silicone?
So all the seam surfaces in bathroom number 2 were done?
Yes.
I want a chicken. Actually, I want 4 to 5 chickens to live in my backyard.
And that would be the
and
26th
feed
of
them my
September.
scraps.
Yes.
Okay. Uh, Did Alan, when he was out there, I see a photo of what I'm guessing is the Roman bathtub in bathroom 2 with a tile missing on the right side, meaning
Mhm.
that it's open in there. Was that open on the 25th of September?
Yes, it was.
And were you in there when Alan was doing his inspection?
For part of it, yes, but I also was working, so I had to go and complete an assignment.
Okay, so was there any conversation about what he saw? Do you know if he looked in the open tile underneath the tub?
We didn't discuss anything underneath. What we discussed essentially was that when he had found it, he believed that it was just that there was a small amount of caulking that needed to be redone. I did the entire thing significantly more than he had said. This bathroom was original to when we purchased it. There had been no remodeling done on this. The remodeling was done on the other side of that wall. That tile was removed at the time of our remodel, and I kept it off so that way when we did remodel, when we hired OPT to come in and fix or repair it, we would have easy access to it. So he had
Okay.
full access to it.
Okay, did he make any comments to you about looking in there, about what he saw, about he didn't look in there? Was there any conversation?
I don't remember if he had discussed anything in there, to be quite honest.
Okay. Yep, and that's what we ask everybody to be here, is quite honest.
Mhm.
All right, but your sworn testimony is that tile was off, that Alan had the opportunity to look under the tub and make any observations that
Yes.
he needed regarding potential leaks from that tub.
Yes.
Okay. And between the 25th of September and the 5th of June or the 4th of June, when somebody first came out, did you have any work done regarding the tub in bathroom 2?
No, we almost never used that tub. It was just once a month to bathe our dog, which is why it took so long to find a leak.
Okay. So no other
Oh.
contractor had been working in that bathroom
No.
between the 25th of September and when Tom came out on the 5th of June?
No.
In our city, they passed a bylaw allowing backyard chickens to cut down on kitchen waste because it was more environmentally friendly. So yeah, you definitely don't need that much space here. Who are these people? I don't know. You can get a coop that moves around and they sort of stay in their little area. They're very good at eating kitchen scraps and reducing garbage. So 18 eggs for $6.47. That's so cheap. Just so y'all know. Your egg prices must have went down crazy comparatively. Like ours, it's always for $5 a dozen, maybe $4 to $5 a dozen. More than $4. Always. And if you want like nice eggs, like you want brown eggs that are extra large, $9 a dozen, easy. And I'm positive you could see at Whole Foods $14 eggs. Positive. You can get real pricey on the eggs. That's more than $1 an egg. Butter is expensive too. Oh, but Bill was joking earlier about me churning my own butter, but I've
Miss
done that.
Alexander, reading Tom's analysis from the 5th of June, number one, he doesn't mention anything about a lack of caulking or silicone. That's not addressed at all in his evaluation.
I'm sorry, a what? A lack of what, Judge? You're gonna have to repeat yourself on that one. Can you go ahead? Just
And
go
he
back.
does-
No,
June,
I
number
said
one,
go
he doesn't-
ahead and repeat yourself about the lack of what?
All right, and Miss Alexander, reading Tom's analysis from the 5th of June, number one, he doesn't mention anything about a lack of caulking or silicone. That's not addressed at all in his evaluation. And he does indicate that
I'd like to raise my issue with lack of caulk. I'm just putting it out there.
when he showed up, the tile was, the underneath tub was exposed, which Ms. West has testified was the exact same situation as when Alan was there. And then,
Sorry, Your Honor, I didn't mean to interrupt. I apologize.
okay, yeah, thank you. And then he indicates a bunch of things he saw when he looked in there, which in his mind were causing the leak. You know, the all the things you were pointing out about the original installation, the problematic installation that was done using improper materials and extenders and those sorts of things. So I didn't see, you were arguing that Ms. West and Mr. Gutierrez hadn't followed through on Alan's suggestion. I don't see anything in Tom's analysis that would indicate that. And Ms. testified to the opposite. So, response?
I would like to note that all of our, in our dispatching software, we use Service Titan, which is a copyrighted program. All of the submissions for photos that are uploaded via iPads have a date and time stamp. The time stamp on the photo indicated in what was submitted is actually on June 5th, 2023, where the tile was removed. I don't have any photos indicating that the tile was removed on our first visit out in September. And so again, if you look also through the photos there, you'll see where we were able to see behind the tub, which the only way, which is where you'll note that the cast iron piping is, if you look, it's a series of 4 photos. You can see some piping, and then on the other side would be the tub. The only way that we would have been able to access that is having that tile removed, which according to our software wasn't done until June. Other than that, we would have had to rip the tub out to be able to see any piping behind that. So
what? You're gonna have to rip the tub out? That doesn't sound right. Also, hi microphone, how you doing? And I get it, Bev. I totally understand. I totally understand. One thing that happens here, I don't know what Gary's doing. Gary? What are you trying to look at? My galvanized nipples? Anyways, around here, certain like community centers do like a food box. It's not like a food bank, you pay for it, but you get access to like certain types of fresh produce and stuff for at a discounted rate, and they buy it from different farmers locally. It's a good program that I think it's called the Good Food Box, but I don't know if they have something similar But there are programs like that too that are worth looking into, and they're available for everybody. They're sort of price adjusted for what your income is, and it's good to help those programs, even if you do have the income for it, to be able to help them.
Okay,
So my response to that is that based on everything that I have here, the tile and in my professional opinion, I also hold a plumbing card in Washington State. I would never advise someone to caulk or silicone a tub that was missing a giant section of tile. That would be completely pointless to have you silicone a tub that's missing a large section, which can compromise the integrity of the tub.
okay, yeah, that makes some sense. Okay, so I think what I'm hearing is Ms. Alexander saying that Ms. West's memory is incorrect, that the tile was in fact in place, because why would Alan recommend recaulking if there was a big gaping hole rather than just caulking seams to prevent?
Judge, are you fucking kidding me right now? Gaping holes, caulk? Come on. I know it's Friday night, but do we have to be like this? Do you have to be just so dirty? You're talking about gaping holes and caulk.
That the tile was in fact in place, because why would Alan recommend recaulking if there was a big gaping hole rather than just caulking seams to prevent water from going through? So Ms. West, your response to that?
So that access hatch had been available and open for him.
If it's helpful, Your Honor, I was there when the tile was taken off. And it was
And when
during,
when was it taken off?
when the prior remodel next door was finished. So we were about 3/4 of the way through the remodeling of bathroom 3 when he had cut through into the wall and saw the water staining underneath the tub. So he had to see it using a flashlight to see under the tub. So he called me up there and he told me about it, and he asked me for permission. This was Mr. Longo of Longo's Home Remodeling. He asked me for permission. Could he take that tile off? And so he could show me the problems down there. And so I was there for that. And that was completed long before, I don't have it handy, months before we ever called OPT out there.
So that had been removed since, I believe, 2022.
Yeah, it had been a long time.
Okay, and when Alan said to recaulk, did anybody say, what good's recaulking gonna do if we have this big open space?
There was a tile that was put back over it. So you see that there's like tape there. We hadn't been using that bathtub. We never intended to really use the bathtub until our groomer closed down. And so we had to start grooming our dog at home. The tile was taped on so that it was a visual reminder so that we wouldn't use the tub just in case. But 2, it was on there with very easy access to remove so that when we did have them come out, they could get into it. And it was removed prior to Alan's visit.
Ed, you removed it or Alan removed it?
I had removed it prior to his visit so that way he could go in.
So your expectation was that he would access that removed tile to actually look under the tub, to look at the fixtures, to look at the lines coming to the fixtures.
Yes.
Did you have any conversation with him about that, or that was just what you assumed would happen?
I just assumed that he would look at the entire tub when I told him that we wanted to get it repaired or replaced so that it was in good working order so that we could use the tub.
Okay, and you didn't stand in the bathroom, watch him do it, so you can't say one way or another what he did in there as far as looking.
Every part of this case can be turned naughty and kinky. You didn't stand there and watch him in the bathroom to see what he did? No!
My office is just on a few feet away, and I was completing a task for something that was time sensitive. So I could hear him in there, and he was in for 5 to 10 minutes. He had also worked on our house previously, and immediately within like a few minutes of looking at the problem, had refunded us because the previous plumber had not completed work, is what he had put in his invoice. So I trusted him to be able to know how to do it and to do the right thing.
Just like we trusted Courtney not to make bad jokes. No, I'm just joking, Courtney.
I think
I
also
love
you
you.
noticed the gaping hole there too.
I actually got the joke, but
And
I understand.
you told
the
me that
panic.
you removed that tile
Yes.
prior to Alan's visit.
Yes, because
And
we wanted to make sure that tub was safe, because it is upstairs and we didn't want it to cause any leaks.
And did you put the tile back after his visit?
Yes.
Did you silicone around the tile, or did you not
Yes.
do it on that tile? What'd you do in regard to that?
I secured it. So it's more of an access hatch. So there were pieces that I could screw in. And then I siliconed around it.
And then the photo that's taken here was taken in June, once the hatch was removed again.
Yes.
This seems like it's coming down to, Ms. Alexander, is whether Alan just gave a quick visual, or whether he got down and removed the tile, or the tile was already off and didn't look in. Do you have any?
Seriously, what is Gary looking for? What is he looking for? He has a flashlight out. He has been looking for like 10 minutes now. What is he looking for?
Any information regarding that one way or the other?
The only thing that I can tell you, Your Honor, is again, in my professional opinion and based on the information that I have in the system, that photo was not uploaded. There was nothing noted about the tile being removed, a hatch, anything when we were out in September. And in my professional opinion, and you can clearly see in the picture, there's a giant section of the tile on the top of the tub that's missing. So whether that was used as an access hatch or not, that would be a clear compromise of the integrity of the tub. So no plumber holding any type of certification within Washington State, and by Ms. West's own testimony, she trusted Alan. He had done work in their home. They were very confident that he was knowledgeable about what he was doing based on their previous experience. So based on her own testimony and in all of the information that I have, and my own professional opinion, there's no way that we would have recommended just caulking or siliconing a tub which had a clear fracture and missing section and was compromised its integrity.
Right.
So, and like I said, it is clearly dated in our system for June. There is nothing noted. I have no photos. I have nothing indicating that there was access to that prior to that date.
Okay. Like I said ahead of time, I'm going to hear two very different things, and I'm hearing two very different things here.
Potentially.
If it's okay, Your Honor, we're going to very quickly scroll through phones and see if we can find an older photo.
Okay, you can do that.
Actually, can you not? I think this is the part where the judge sits in silence. Oh, don't do that. Hold on. And watch. I'm gonna skippity doo. Oh, hold on. Skippity doo da, skippity day, right through the thing, all the way.
All right. Well, it appears from the information that's been provided that the water damage in the house came from the issues that Tom noted in his June report, which are the leaking supply lines and the improper use of materials. And that seemed to be the primary cause. I don't see that the primary cause of water damage is a leak through caulking or silicone. It appears it's directly from the lines providing the water.
That's correct, Your Honor.
I'm sorry, Ms. Alexander.
I
you'd
said
agree
that
with
is correct. That is correct, Your Honor. That assessment from
Okay.
Tom's evaluation is 100% correct.
Yeah. So I think this comes down to whether Alan had the opportunity to have observed those when he was there doing the 25th or didn't. Whether the tub was re-siliconed or not re-siliconed, and Ms. West said she did it completely the day after, to me isn't all that important, since the obvious leaks are from the improper installation of the original faucet appliances and supply lines. And tell me if you find a earlier photo, please.
Will do. I'm still scrolling. I've not found one yet. And in fairness, I'm hoping to find one, but I also understand there was no real reason to take a photo after Mr.
Yeah.
Longo had taken
Just
the tile
just let me
off.
know if you find one.
Will do.
Say nipples, Judge. Say nipples.
June when they came out. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be able to find one prior to June when they came out again.
I'm still looking though.
Okay.
A slow Judge Simpson? That's interesting. This judge is incredibly slow. I heard Judge Simpson had some crazy shit going on lately. Bad
No,
case.
I don't have one.
Okay. Yeah, it's not looking like we're going to have one.
Okay, so it's just going to come down to people's testimony.
Understood.
What do we think Gary was looking for, though? Seriously, it would be so funny if he was looking for the flashlight in his hand. I mean, so funny. Judge, what are you thinking here? You're certainly taking your time.
Don't have the original date stamps on them.
I heard that, Afix. That's terrible news. Another plane crash. Terrible. I heard it was a medevac flight. Terrible news.
And for what period did you use the tub?
From roughly the September of 2023 through, we noted the stain on the ceiling in the bathroom one on the day before OPT came out. So whatever, I think the June 3rd of 2023. So for span of September through June.
Okay, so let's make sure we have the years right. I believe the initial inspection by Alan was the 25th of September of 2023. And then Olympic Plumbing came back out in June of 2024.
There we go. Yes. And
Okay,
so
so
we
you
noticed-
used-
oh, sorry.
You used the tub between Alan's visit in September and Tom's visit in June.
Correct. The remodeler had advised us not to use it. He said there was no active leak or anything like that. Just don't use it until you get it fully checked out. He offered to do it then, but we couldn't afford it.
Offered to do it when?
When he was finishing up the remodeling of bathroom 3, he said, if you want, we can extend this project and I can start working on bathroom 2. We said, we can't afford it, but
Consummate salesman. Yeah, that's crazy. Be careful. I'm sure it's all under control, but please be careful, and our thoughts are with everybody in Philly. Also, just like a contractor, hey, like, hey, I know I just finished redoing one bathroom, but you want me to do another one?
as long as we know there's no active leak, there was no moisture damage or anything, or there's no moisture available or anything like that. So we held off until we could afford it.
By the way, Gary and Steven are, I think, in the same case, but we are not going to hear it, I don't think. Hi, Rose. Hope you are well. Yeah, I heard it was a small plane. Bad luck with planes lately. Not good. Not good. This bread is good. I'm picking at it. Terrible. But I guess that's the glory when you make it yourself.
Oh, she might have, but need one.
Yeah.
Look how much of this I'm fast forwarding and he's not talking still. It's craziness.
It's not gonna help.
What? What are they talking about? What could help? They seem like a nice couple, though. I'm gonna say that. No, Mike, we said that. It was a medevac flight with a child on board, I think. A terrible tragedy. Terrible tragedy. Are your comments censored? No. Not by me. YouTube Daddy, you know him. He does him.
And Ms. Alexander, does Alan still work for Olympic Plumbing?
No, Your Honor, he does not. He actually moved out of state about a month and a half ago.
Okay, that's why we haven't heard from him.
That's correct.
All right. Yeah.
Oh,
his-
at the
his
beginning. Oh,
testimony
sorry. When
would
he first said it, I said it was
obviously
a
be highly
medevac thing. I
relevant
didn't
to-
see that comment yet.
I did speak with him via phone to get his account of the circumstances leading up to this case, but he unfortunately was not available today to be present.
Okay, thank you.
YouTube Daddy is very, very sensitive.
Yeah, I appreciate the opportunity to check, Your Honor, but doesn't seem like we're going to be able to find a picture that was prior to June. Again, it never occurred to us that we would need to prove that.
No,
I
no,
was
no,
never
I
told
know,
off.
you don't need to explain it to me.
Okay,
I
thank you.
was just curious as to whether you had one.
Yeah.
You mentioned something political and it didn't appear in the chat. Type it again, Carol, because it wasn't us. Leave some spaces in it. I ask people not to be uber political, but I don't enforce the rules very much, and sometimes I'm political myself.
Wait.
Because this is my goddamn soapbox. But you're welcome to climb up if you want. No, seriously though, nobody's removing comments, I promise you. But YouTube Daddy, in his infinite wisdom, could be doing whatever. He don't tell me. He barely tells me nothing anymore.
And when did Mr. Longo do work for you?
What would be the exact dates? Do you remember?
I'm looking at an invoice. April of 21 is when we had him. So that's when he would have removed it.
That's when he would have taken off the tile section.
Correct.
Yeah, now we want to know the comment though, Carol. Because we actually don't censor it like that in here. And I also, personally, like it. I don't know. I just find it difficult when people are censoring people. It's just hard. I don't know. Maybe I'm American. Look, Ed. Look, Ed's getting it all through. Ed's.
Okay, between April of 20.
I like that you're trying both, Ed.
And
Thank you.
September of 23, did you use the tub at all?
No.
I really appreciate the dedication there. Like, that's perfect. It was about 47. I don't know what that means. Did I miss something about the number 47? Or is that the new president? Is that Trump? I don't know the numbers. You could call him Frump if you want in here. That should get through. Frumpy. But again, I'm not blocking anything, I promise you. I fucking wish I could you know, like control YouTube a little
And
bit more like that, but I
when
can't.
Tom came in on the 4th or 5th of June, 2024, who was present with him?
I was.
Mostly Erin, I was there for some of the things. She was there for all of it.
And I'm assuming the tile was removed or he removed it?
Yes, it was already removed. He actually came in after the mold abatement company.
Okay, so the tile had been removed by the mold abatement company.
Or before the mold abatement company arrived.
When we found that there was a leak is when I went in and removed that tile, when we noticed the staining on the ceiling.
So roughly June 2nd, the tile was off and it was never put back on.
Okay, so that was early June of 2024
Yes.
that you took the tile, you took the tape off, took the tile off.
Mhm.
And all right. Did Tom go immediately and look in the space under where the tile had been taken off? What did he do as he began his inspection? Do you recall, Ms. West?
Yes, Tom stood in the doorway and was able to see all of the cables because we had pulled some out because they were leaking. And I wanted them to leak into a bag rather than into the floor and cause more mold. So he was able to see that because it had been pulled out of that access hatch.
Okay.
So
Correct.
he could see that from the doorway, but he had full access and then went in and looked at everything and took pictures.
Your Honor, may I respond to that very quickly?
Sure.
So one thing that I'm a little bit confused on was that in previous testimony given, they stated that no work was performed from September until June. But now, according to their testimony, the mold abatement company had already been out there, tiles had been removed. There had been work performed within that time. So
Mold abatement
Okay.
company came the
Yeah,
same
yeah,
day.
Ms. West, hold on.
the other thing that I would like to know is that Ms. West indicated that she had an invoice from the remodeling contractor from 2021. On that invoice, does it list that the tile was removed at that time?
But it wasn't for that bathroom.
All right.
I'm sorry, you just, according to my
Okay.
recollection, you just testified that it was removed in 2021, that it would have been done at that time and that it had been removed since then, based on my understanding of the testimony that you have provided. Okay.
The invoice isn't for that bathroom, it's for a different bathroom. Because we had a different bathroom remodeled.
Okay. All right. So, yeah, reviewing the evidence here, it's clear to me that the issue is the report issued on the 25th and what was available to Alan at the time. He did his evaluation, what wasn't. Ms. Alexander is arguing that clearly the tile wasn't removed because he would have looked in there and seen the same issues that Tom had seen when he came in. And Ms. West indicates that, or Mr. Gutierrez said the tile had been removed back in 2021, and Ms. West confirmed that and said that they had not used the bathroom from the time the tile was removed until September 2023, based on indications of water leak from that tub. And Ms. Alexander raises questions about why it doesn't make a lot of sense to have a flap on something and then silicone it, and no indication in her report from Alan that there was a way to look in underneath the tub. So, you know, it's like I said earlier, this is going to go back to, I wasn't there, I didn't see it. You each have, you know, theories of how this went down, either based on personal observation from Ms. West and Mr. Gutierrez to some degree. And Ms. Alexander is mostly just based on reports. She has not been in the home, and we don't have the testimony of the tech who was there. I'm going to find that, make a finding that in fact the tile was off at the time that Alan came. He had the opportunity to see the primary causes of the water damage and for some reason did not make those observations. And thus his response was essentially an all clear system to use the tub, and the subsequent use of that tub caused damage to the home of Ms. West and Mr. Gutierrez, based on the negligent failure to observe the cause of the damage that they've been asked to opine about. As to damages, you list the
Hold on, Judge. Wait a
bill
second.
from
I'm amazed, first of all, that so they've won. Now the question is, get your guesses in right now. Will he give them the full $10,000, or will it be some other amount? These people persuaded the judge. They've proved their case. He's basically, and it does make sense. They are very believable. Like I've said, this is one of the best laid out small claims courses or cases I had heard. Let's see here what he gives them. I think it might bite this company in the behind. Let's see.
the mold mitigation company H2OA, and then drywall and paint by Unique, and then a painting estimate from Flying Colors. I'm assuming Unique and Flying Colors are competing bids. I'm guessing
Correct.
they're the same thing.
We ultimately hired Flying Colors. The very last thing we filed with the court is exhibit number 8, and that's a receipt from Flying Colors to repair bathroom 1.
But not the bathroom that's at issue here, or is it
Correct.
as of
It
the?
is, oh, it is still down to the studs and subfloor.
Okay. So as a result of the water leakage in bathroom 2, you have the mold mitigation costs that you incurred,
Mhm.
and then you have the painting and drywall. And was the estimate of Flying Colors 5247.34? Is that what you ultimately paid? I suppose I could look at the receipt.
Yes.
Yeah, so the original
Okay.
estimate from Flying Colors was 47, but we paid 52 ultimately.
There's also additional charges that we incurred from like running a month's worth of industrial dehumidifiers, but we're not asking for any of that.
Rochelle, you're gonna have to put on your red light and explain to your bosses why you lost this case about your losses. Explain to your bosses about your losses. The pictures must be compelling. The pictures must be compelling. But again, Well, it probably is easier to collect from a company like this. Galvanizer nips for that meeting, you're right. Even though it's against code. Galvanized nipples are against the Bro Code and the Washington Plumbing Code, apparently.
All right, by way of damages for the negligent advice provided on the 25th of September, leading to structural issues as a result of the water leakage, I'll award the cost paid for mold mitigation and for drywall and painting, which total $9,509.73 as the supported damages here, and I'll award $50 filing fee. I looked on your certificate of service. I don't believe you paid anything for service. Is that correct?
Just a little bit for the US Postal Service. I'm not worried about $8, something like that. I'm not so worried about that.
Okay, thank you. The total judgment would be $9,559.73. All right, folks, thanks for your patience. I know it took a long time to work through all that.
Thank you, Your Honor. We really
Thank
appreciate
you.
that.
Courtesy
you,
of
Ron.
all three of you to each other, so thank you.
Thank you very much.
Wow, wow, wow. It almost never happens like that, you guys. Bev, we're right behind you, heading out the door. Off to do some gaming, some eating, some sleeping, some being. Go be you. You guys, thank you so much for being here tonight. I really appreciate it, and I appreciate each and every one of you. Rochelle was not happy about that at the end. Not happy indeed. Tomorrow, no show. Sunday, 2 shows. So, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. Enjoy your Saturday. Do something fun, and then get ready to tell me all about it for show and tell at members only, and we'll have a Sunday Court Watchers Anonymous meeting. Thank you guys for all the best wishes, the well wishes, all the prayers and love. I love you guys so much. Remember, I love you, I am proud of you, and I will see you in the next video. Okay, bye. I said bye. Go gamble with Creed.
Ready to ride.